I got a whole lot of green burning a hole in my stash. Hello there, welcome to the June Made channel. My name is Paula Jean, and unfortunately the green I'm talking about isn't money, but it is fabric, which is the next best thing. So I'm going to tell you how I came about having so many coordinating forest green fabrics and what my sewing plans are for them. So let's dive right into them. First up is this beautiful stretch French terry, stretch French terry cloth. Stretch French terry. For all you voice people out there, really good warm-up. You're welcome. Anyway, this terry cloth, I have worked with it before, and it's from Green Style. I got this and the ribbing around Christmas time. They were having a sale on their fleeces and coordinating ribbings. So I picked up a couple yards of this. It's a really beautiful weight. It's cotton and lycra. It's got great crosswise and lengthwise stretch, really good recovery, washes really nicely, and the weight is something that I feel like I can wear in most seasons. I mean, you know, not when it's 400 degrees here in the summer, but I can, it's not that heavy fleece. It's just a little bit thicker than a knit like t-shirt fabric. So really love that. And then I've got the coordinating ribbing, and this is actually the same type of ribbing that I used on my t-shirt sleeve experiment from a few weeks ago. I got a couple yards of this as well because the plan for both of these were to make a pair of sweatpants for my husband for Christmas. I had made him a pair a few years ago. He wore them into the ground, and I was going to make him a replacement pair. And then with the rest of the ribbing, because I was only going to need a little bit for the waistband, but with the rest of it, I wanted to make myself a rib knit dress. And because the weight of this and the stretch of this, again, really great crosswise stretch, not so much in the lengthwise, but that's not really what you need, where you need the stretch in a rib knit. But because it's a little bit thicker, on the thicker side, I thought it would make a really nice weight for a dress. So that was going to be the plan. I was going to make a pair of sweatpants for my husband, a knit dress for myself. He was going to get a Christmas present. I was going to have a nice little Christmas dress to wear that was comfortable. And I ended up not having the time to do either one of those things and ended up doing something completely different for him for Christmas. And so then I was left with these fabrics, and in the interim, he found a pair of woven style joggers from REI, which is a kind of a camping outdoor equipment co-op store here in the States. And he found a really great pair of woven joggers that he loves. They were on sale. He's bought like 4 pair of them. So he is all set in the sweatpant department. And so he said, well, why don't you just make something for yourself out of that? And I was like, okay. So that was the plan, and I thought, okay, so the pattern I was going to use, and am still going to use for the knit dress, is the Sophia Sweetheart Dress and Top pattern from Stay Stitch Pattern Company. I fell in love with this when it came out. I think it came out last year, maybe a year and a half ago. It's got this beautiful sweetheart neckline. It's got a lovely curved front waistband. It comes in a dress and a top in both long sleeve and sleeveless versions. You could easily do a short sleeve version if you wanted to. And so I thought it would look really pretty in this color, in this fabric. Now, you will remember with this rib knit that I have sensitive inner elbows, and they do not like the texture of this rib knit. So I thought, all right, I will not make the long sleeve version, which is what I was originally planning. I'll make the sleeveless version, and then I can probably wear it across more seasons anyway, and that'll work out great. And then, since I've got all this fleece, and I'll have some ribbing left over because I'm only making the sleeveless version, I thought it would make a great Nomi 2007. If you're not familiar with Nomi patterns, this is a new label under the Big Four umbrella, which is McCall's and Simplicity and Vogue, and Buttrick, I think, was the fourth one. Mimi G, who is an icon in the sewing community, and I believe she's the new Vice President of Development for the big four, and she has come out with a new brand called Know Me Patterns. And the really cool thing about this is that the designers for these patterns are actually sewists from the Instagram community. And this one is designed by Marcia, and this is her on the cover. Marcia of Kichibi Style. I've been following her for a while, and if you came up to me and said, okay, you can pick one sewist that you follow on Instagram whose closet you get to raid, I'd have a tough time choosing, but I'm pretty sure I would end up choosing Marcia's. She's got such great styles. She does amazing pattern hacks, and I was really excited when she showed up as one of the designers under this new label. So this pattern is very cool. I'm going to take out the inside pages so you can see the line drawing. This is a long sleeve, kind of a sweatshirt bomber dress like jacket thing. This is part of what I love about Marcia, is that she combines all of these elements of all these different things and turns it into something new and fabulous. So this comes in a couple of different length options. The option A hits, I think, just below mid-calf. I think option B hits right below the knee. It's got a cut-on like dolman sleeve, which just means that there's not an armhole seam. So it's just all one piece, the bodice and the sleeve. And it's got a really cool inset pieced yoke right here. It's got that rib knit collar that is reminiscent of bomber jackets. It's got two cuff options. There's this longer, kind of more dramatic one, and then there's this shorter, kind of regular length one. And then it's got a skirt part, and there are inseam pockets in the skirt part of it. And it has a center back seam at the back. So pretty simple construction in terms of not having a lot of seams to put together at all. Now, I made the rookie mistake of buying the wrong size pattern envelope. I'm actually in the kind of middle to upper end of the lower size range, but I ended up buying the bigger size range somehow, and I couldn't return it. But anyway, I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to grade it down a little bit. And because it's such a simple style and it's not super fitted, it's just got the ribbing that's fitted at the waist, I think it's going to be fine. If I need to take in that seam at the top or the side seam under the arm, I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. So I'm just going to roll with it. So that was the plan there. And then I made the mistake of going to Joann's. I needed some interfacing or something. Joann's doesn't tend to be a place that I go for one of my main fabric sources, but what kind of sewist would I be if I didn't wander the aisles and check out what's on sale every time I have to go get some interfacing or a zipper or whatever. So I was doing just that and turned down an aisle, and on the floor on a bolt that had fallen over was this incredible suede scuba. Now, I have never sewn with scuba. I've sewn with other knits before, so I'm not too concerned about it, but scuba, and I'm pretty sure this isn't the official definition of it, but I kind of think of it as if neoprene and like supplex yoga pant fabric had a little fabric baby. That's what scuba seems like to me. It's got, its weight is a little bit heavier, I'd say, at least to my hand it is, than the stretch French terry. It's got not very much lengthwise stretch, but it has maybe about 30 to 35% crosswise stretch. Another vocal warm-up. And it's actually perfect for the requirements of Know Me 2007. I picked this up off the floor. My hand just melted into it. I swear to God, this is like kitten soft. So I took it up to the counter and I said, hey, what's the deal with this fabric? Because the aisle that I was in, it had a bunch of knit fabrics that were on sale, but stuff gets misplaced all the time in Joann's, so I wanted to check that out. So she checked the tag and she said, yes, it's on sale, and there is just under a yard of it, which means it qualifies as a remnant. As it so happened, they were having 75% off of their remnants that day. So I got this piece of fabric that is almost a yard. It was originally, I think, like $24 or $27 a yard. I got this for like $7. So I couldn't pass that up. And then I got it home and it coordinated perfectly with the forest green rib knit. Now this threw a wrench into my plans because I couldn't get the idea of a cropped little bomber jacket hacked out of this Nomi 2007, and I could only do like a crop jacket version because I didn't have enough to do like a full length version, and I'm not sure I would want a full length suede scuba garment anyway, but I do really want that bomber jacket. so I think that's what I'm gonna do with that. Since I'm making the sleeveless version, I'm gonna have enough ribbing, I think, to do both of these. And then for the sweatshirt fleece, we're gonna come full circle and I am just gonna make myself a pair of nice sweatpants. Now, where sweatpants are concerned, I think I have two pair of like real sweatpants. Neither of them is anything that I would want to be seen in by anyone except my husband and maybe my best friend. Like I don't even like walking to the mailbox wearing them. And I think I've never really made myself a nice pair because I've never liked the way that traditional sweatpants have like the ribbed waistband that attaches to the bottom main part of the pant, and then you have that seam at the waist and you insert the elastic, and that seam just always bothers me. It's you know, no shade to anybody who loves that style of sweatpant. It's just kind of not my jam. But still, I would like kind of something nice that I can go out for an early morning walk in. So I'm gonna go back to my comfy lounge set by Pattern Scout, and this is, if you've seen some of my other videos and watched my t-shirt alteration one, then this is the pattern that I use as my basic t-shirt pattern. Also with the pattern comes a pant and short, and what I like about this pattern is that there isn't that waistband seam. This has a cut-on waistband that you then attach the elastic to, and you flip it over and stitch it down. And when you stitch it down, you actually catch the pockets in that stitching line. You flip the inseam pockets to the front and catch them in that waist stitching line. So you also have pockets that don't do that weird thing where they flip to the back and you've got to like wrangle them to the front again. So it's just a nice, clean, kind of elegant waist finish with pockets. Now I'm gonna have to take advantage of the fact that my husband is out of town and take over the living and dining room floor and lay out all my fabric and see if I've got enough for all of this. And hopefully I'll have some pieces of the suede scuba left over that I can somehow incorporate them into the sweatpants, like either maybe I'll have like a stripe down the side, or I don't know, something at the bottom of the leg. Anyway, we'll see. So that is the next step, is for me to go move some furniture and see what I got. All right, we are looking pretty good with the scuba. So this is the Nomi 2007, the back bodice and sleeve, the front bodice and sleeve, and the yoke piece. Now, not only am I going to be grading this down, but I'm not at all concerned about the sleeve extending past the width of the fabric here. And all of the fabrics are on the fold, so this is all doubled. But this is the cutting line for the shorter cuff. This is the cutting line for the longer cuff, and I am going to be doing something that's kind of in between, so I've got plenty of space here. And I've also got what looks like some leftover pieces that will allow for some sweat pant embellishment. And then coming over here to the rib knit section of our makeshift studio, Lots for the dress. The bodice of the dress is supposed to be lined, but I'm going to be using a different fabric for that, probably a stretch mesh. Now for the ribbing pieces to go on the bomber jacket hack, this is the longer length cuff, but again, I'm going to be doing kind of an in-between length, so that'll probably come to right about here. And I'm also going to be doing probably just a single layer for each cuff instead of doubling and folding it. This fabric is so substantial that I think that'll be plenty, and I'll probably just bind the bottom edge in a similar fashion as I did on my sleeve experiment on my t-shirts. And then these are the waist pieces. The original construction is with 2 pieces. So this is the back piece that's cut on the fold, and then you have 2 front pieces, and then there's a side seam. I am probably going to eliminate that side seam and just do 1 piece that goes all the way around and just meets at the center front at the zipper. And then this is the collar, which I can either place on the fold over here, or I have a feeling that once I determine the length of my cuff, I'm going to have plenty to actually put that collar somewhere in here, and then I'll have a little bit of ribbing left over for a different project. And then last but not least, the sweatpants. I've got plenty of fabric, which I knew. This is the back leg and the front leg, and then the pocket. I'm just going to need 2 of the pocket instead of 4 because I'm going to be facing it with a lighter weight fabric. And then I've got this leftover that I think will make maybe a nice workout top, maybe a nice pair of bike shorts or something. And I have no idea if I'm even visible in this camera right now, but anyway, I'm really happy. This is just a loose layout, but I think I've got plenty of fabric, and now it's just a matter of cleaning up all my mess and getting cutting. Thanks for joining me on this little tour of my abundance of green fabric and my living and dining room floor. Hopefully when I see you back here next time, I will have some completed green garments. And in the meantime, if you are enjoying this content, please consider giving me a subscribe, a like. Let me know in the comments what you do when you find yourself with several pieces of fabric of all the same color. Until then, have a great day, a great week, and I will see you next time.